There's something to be said for filmmakers who dare to push the boat out and do something totally wild in a creative environment as conservative and risk-averse as the present. And these 10 movies are definitely that, my friends, each touting an immediately attention-grabbing premise that is far from the same old genre offering we've all seen dozens, even hundreds of times before. Now, of course, a nutty singular concept alone doesn't a good movie make, but it's a start. So I'm Gareth, this is What Culture, and here are 10 upcoming movies with insane plots. Number 10, The School Duel. Right, let's kick this list off with what is sure to be one of the most controversial films of the year, The School Duel. Here we go. Todd Wiseman Jr.'s thriller takes place in a dystopian near-future Florida, where gun control has been abolished, and the state has come up with a radical solution to curb school shootings, hosting a statewide competition where students fight to the death. Alright. Quite how the full logic of this concept tracks remains to be seen, but given that gun control, and specifically school shootings, are one of America's great contentious issues, any film that engages with these concepts as heightened genre entertainment is gonna draw a heavily polarized response. The title suggests it'll be more of a 1v1 affair rather than an especially unhinged stateside take on Battle Royale, but don't be shocked if this one is just too politically sensitive to get much of a substantial release, and ends up being quietly slothed onto streaming in most territories, regardless of its actual quality. Number 9, Eddington. Eddington is the fourth film from Ari Aster, you know, the guy behind Hereditary, Midsommar, and Beau is Afraid, and like his prior efforts, looks set to push the boundaries of audience expectation. So far, we know for sure that the film, described as a Western black comedy which may or may not have fringe horror elements, takes place at the height of the pandemic in 2020, as a small-town right-wing sheriff played by Joaquin Phoenix faces off against a mayor played by Pedro Pascal in the town of Edington, New Mexico. Reports on the film's script call it a bat S-word crazy political satire which takes all sides to task, while training its focus mostly on the increasing polarization in modern American politics. After Beau is Afraid so boldly blurred genre lines, this seems like another fascinatingly lithe, genre-bending effort that's likely to be one of the most talked about and divisive films of the year. And if Aster plus Phoenix plus Pascal isn't enough to whet your appetite, they'll also be joined by Austin Butler and Emma Stone. Yep, sign me up. Number 8, Deep Cover. Rather refreshingly, this isn't a remake of the cult classic 1992 Lawrence Fishburne starring crime thriller Deep Cover, but a new British action comedy with the same title. Bryce Dallas Howard, Orlando Bloom, and Nick Mohammed star as 3 improv actors who are recruited by the police to take part in sting operations. However, their training in improv comedy, namely their tendency to say yes and to every new development, causes them to journey deeper into London's criminal underworld than expected, all while maintaining their gangster facades. Deep Cover is far from the first comedy about undercover crime solving, and it feels especially similar to Richard Linklater's recent Hitman movie, which was ace. But the whole improv comedy troupe angle is certainly a fun wrinkle, which should help it stand out. While other folk who find themselves in this situation would surely be compelled to just make a swift exit at the first sign of real danger, the hilarity of seeing improv comedians who are trained to roll with the punches no matter what tumble down an increasingly perilous rabbit hole, well, speaks for itself. This one should be a laugh. Now, what comedy has had you laughing the most recently? Let me know in the comments below. Number 7, Redux. Sci-fi horror has always been a fertile ground for blisteringly original ideas, and Redux offers up a real winner, alright. Kevin and Matthew McManus' film follows Irene, a woman who travels through the multiverse, repeatedly killing her daughter's murderer, Nelson. The problem, however, is that Irene has effectively become addicted to offing the killer in myriad brutal ways, all while holding out hope that there might be a universe where her late daughter is actually still alive. It's a brilliant, attention-grabbing setup, and one which the McManus brothers have evidently delivered on, as Redux has largely scored strong reviews since its recent premiere at the SXSW Film Festival. Revenge thrillers are a dime a dozen, and the whole multiverse shtick is starting to feel pretty played out at this point. Not every movie needs a damn multiverse, but this is certainly a singular take on both, eschewing big budget multiverse hopping in favour of something a bit more stripped down and propelled forward by its fascinating central idea. Number 6. Queens of the Dead. George A. Romero's daughter, Tina Romero, is making her feature debut with Queens of the Dead, a new horror comedy in which a group of drag queens and club kids team up to battle a horde of zombies which invade a Brooklyn drag show. Honestly, what else do you need to hear to be excited about this one? With George A. Romero being the father of the zombie movie as we know it, it'll certainly be fascinating to see what sort of stamp his flesh and blood progeny puts on the genre. If nothing else, seeing a group of drag queens and socialites band together to fight the undead sounds like a gonzo blast, and a breath of fresh air in a horror subgenre that's felt bereft of fresh perspectives as of late. And to top it all off, the ensemble cast includes the talented likes of Jaquel Spivey, Katie O'Brien, Margaret Cho, Jack Haven, and Cheyenne Jackson. That's a lot of talent. Even if it isn't a zombie movie classic, it'll be neat to see how Romero's DNA, both creative and literal, seeps into this one. If you're having fun with this What Culture list right here, then tap on that subscribe button down below, and guess what? Even more wonderful What Culture videos, lists, editorials, and so much more will land on your screen. Number 5. No Other Choice. It'd be surprising if the latest film from the legendary Park Chan-wook, the person behind Old Boy and The Handmaiden, didn't tout a totally out there, deliciously balmy premise. But true to form, of course it does. No Other Choice is a blackly comedic thriller adapted from Donald E. Westlake's 1997 novel The Axe, and stars the great Lee Byung-hun as Man-soo, a man who is fired from the job he's held for 25 years and desperately seeks out new employment. Man-soo's straits are ultimately dire enough that he resolves to start eliminating, that is, murdering the individuals competing for his new potential position. I mean, that's one way to get a job. That's also one hell of an alluring setup, and one which seems perfectly suited to Park Chan-wook's proclivities as a filmmaker. And given that he's been working on this adaptation for more than 15 years, his passion is undeniable. Westlake's novel has been acclaimed for its satirical through line ever since it was first published, and it goes without saying that a takedown of cutthroat capitalism will probably never not be relevant. Number 4. The untitled Alejandro G. Inarritu film. Director Alejandro G. Inarritu doesn't do things by half measure, does he? And his latest project is just another in a long line of wildly ambitious, star-studded efforts. This is the guy who did Birdman and The Revenant, don't forget. His currently untitled new film will star Tom Cruise as quote-unquote the most powerful man in the world, who, after causing an unspecified disaster, must embark on a mission to prove that he is the savior of humanity. Now, this premise sounds like it was grown in a lab for Cruise in particular. The man's stature as one of Hollywood's few truly bankable remaining movie stars makes him all too perfect to play an all-powerful human being. Whatever that means exactly. Whether Inarritu's film is supernatural or not, it's sure to be a heightened, technically astonishing take on material which, in other hands, could so easily sound like a broad-skewing blockbuster. And better yet, Cruise will be joined by one hell of a stacked cast, including Sandra Hüller, John Goodman, Michael Stuhlbarg, Jesse Plemons, Sophie Wilde, Riz Ahmed, and Emma Darcy. An all-powerful Cruise with that sort of backup? Sounds like a winner to me. Number 3. Brideheart. Few among us were likely asking for a mashup of Wedding Crashers and Die Hard. But what the hell, why not? Brideheart is a new action comedy where Rebel Wilson stars as Sam, a secret agent who serves as the maid of honor at her childhood best pal's fancy destination wedding, only for the shindig to be crashed by armed mercenaries. This naturally forces Sam to spring into action, using her special set of skills to take out the goons and ensure the wedding actually goes ahead. It is tough for both action flicks and nuptial comedies to break out, so colliding the two together in a peanut butter and jelly fashion has a certain charm. Furthermore, Wilson will be reunited with her Pitch Perfect co-star Anna Camp, who plays the embattled bride, while the wider cast includes the likes of Anna Chlumsky, recent Oscar winner Davine Joy Randolph, Stephen Dorff, Justin Hartley, and Sam Huntington. No word yet on whether the movie will be rated PG-13 or R, but given that the poster shows Wilson and the rest of the bridal party brandishing various weapons, including sharp high heels, hopefully it'll be a rare, blood-soaked wedding flick. Now that sure would be something. Number 2, Twinless. James Sweeney's new black comedy, Twinless, rocks quite the original doozy of a premise, revolving around two men, Roman and Dennis, who strike up a sexually intense friendship after meeting in a support group for twinless twins. That is, twins whose other twin has died. That right there is certainly a unique lens through which to craft an indie gay romance. And going from the rave reviews out of its recent premiere at the Sundance Film Festival, Sweeney holds nothing back, digging deep into a concept fraught with psychosexual complexity from the jump. Melding a romance with a drama about grief and wrapping it all inside of a darkly comedic package would be a tricky tonal feat for any filmmaker, but a young director on their second time up to bat? Bold isn't even the word, my friends. And all the more impressively, reviews indicate that Sweeney has totally pulled it off too, with Dylan O'Brien receiving especially strong notices for his dual performance as both twins. Number 1, the entertainment system is down. And finally, Triangle of Sadness director Ruben Östlund returns with his latest provocative social satire, which boasts one hell of a celebrated ensemble cast. The entertainment system is down's delicious premise unfolds on board a long-haul flight between England and Australia, where the in-flight entertainment system fails, causing intense boredom to set in among the passengers. Once again, Östlund is firing at a broad target here, sending up our collective reliance on technology to coddle our restless minds. But it's certainly a hilariously deranged setup, and moreover seems perfectly fine-tuned to his penchant for black comedy. Östlund will need to go some to top the unforgettable insanity of his previous Palme d'Or winning effort. But given the talent he's roped in this time, well, things are sure looking good. The increasingly irritable and presumably eventually unruly passengers will be played by the likes of Keanu Reeves, Kirsten Dunst, Daniel Bruhl, Samantha Morton, Nicholas Braun, Connor Swindles, and Julie Delpy, among many more. Yeah, that is quite the lineup, I'm sure you'd agree. The film is currently deep in production, and so there's a strong chance it'll be in competition at next year's Cannes Film Festival, while possibly even vying for Oscar Gold in 2027. Watch this airspace.